Welcome to the Spy Collection. My name is Anastasios and today we'll look into a couple of items that came to us from the Russo-Ukrainian War. So more of a TECHINT episode. According to the sender, those were part of a Russian T-80 main battle tanks communication system, which is within our scope, since we regularly talk about ComSec, and those two also have a relation with intelligence services that we'll be covering later in this episode. Unfortunately, we have been unable to conclusively confirm what was the exact system they came from, so if you do know, please let us know. And that said, let's start with this one first. That's the MS-102 with serial number 0153. That's the ground connection. And here it says PIT, abbreviation for Pitania, meaning power indicator. And on the bottom it has RC1 and RC2, which is likely an abbreviation of Radiostantia, meaning radio station. And LVS here, which is likely from Lilini Vchod Sviazi, meaning input for communication line. Note this tiny symbol here. This one has a history going all the way back to the Soviet Union. Basically, any electronic component designed to meet military standards was marked with this symbol. But what made this something related to our content was this sticker here. L919 or L918. It's not very clear. Among the various responsibilities of the FSB is also to certify government and military equipment in terms of communication security. And if you wonder why would a spy agency do that, you need to consider who is better placed than the agency that is also breaking into foreign communication systems and defining the standards for government communication security. And that isn't just in Russia, it's how it's done in most countries. For instance, in the US, this is a responsibility of the NSA. And fun fact, not just that, in its early days, it was the sole responsibility of the NSA, and it's actually why it was named the National Security Agency. But we are diverting. Back to that sticker. This isn't the first time we're seeing this. Around a year ago, we saw another electronic component that was certified by the same entity within the FSB, and that sticker had the code L933. Let us know if you know what those codes mean. And in case you didn't watch that episode, here is exactly who is doing those certifications inside Russia's FSB. If you check closely, it has CZZ1 printed. That's an abbreviation for Center for Information Protection and Special Communications. And informally, within the FSB, this is referred to as the 8th Center, operating under the 3rd Service, the scientific and technical service of the FSB. The reason it has this nickname, even to this day, is that during the Soviet Union times, that was the responsibility of KGB's 8th Main Directorate, officially known as the Cryptography Directorate. There was also another one, the 16th Main Directorate, that was the offensive side of this, how to intercept and decipher enemy communications. After the fall of the Soviet Union, both of those, the offensive and defensive sides, were merged into a new agency called the Federal Agency of Government Communications and Information, or FAPSI. But that didn't last for long, since FAPSI was dissolved and both of those functions were absorbed by the FSB, and that's why it's still called the 8th Center. Alright, let's have a look at its internals too. And here is a quick analysis of those internals. And the other board. And now to the second component of the same system. It has 8 inputs for communication lines, along with those light indicators. And the unused ones even come with those protective caps. Of course, PIT, the power indicator, and here we have its model name, BK02, serial number 12239. And as you can see here, this was also certified by the FSB's 8th Center, using the certification code L919. The serial number of the certification is also clearly visible in this one, since both had either the same or sequential certification codes, is likely a confirmation they are coming from the same system. And now a quick peek at its internals. And just like we did in the first one, here is a list for those components too. So if you know more about those devices, we'd be very interested to know. Anything like what system they are coming from, what's the function of that system, what they were used for, if they are indeed from a T-80 or not, or anything else. Hopefully that was both interesting and educational, both for the history and present of FSB's 8th Center, as well as how some of the modern Russian communication components look like. All of those are topics that are almost never discussed in public, although they provide another perspective into some of the lesser-known responsibilities of spy agencies, like cryptographic standards and security certifications. But that should be expected in a world where nothing is as it seems.